The locker room on a hump of the week Wednesday morning, the smooth breakfast on Smooth 98.1. You know what time it is? It's that time to talk about sporting action from all over football, basketball. Hey, you name it, we've got it right here. My name is Ayokunmi, and I'm so glad to have you join us this morning, as you always do, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8:15 a.m. on the Smooth Breakfast. It's all about the locker room and sporting action. Yes, indeed. And you know that this is a ride where I have the one, the only sports Amazon herself. Even though she's not in the studio, she's still larger than life. Tega Supreme in on a Wednesday. Tega, good morning to you.
Good morning. Ooh, it's midweek. All right, what happened this midweek? First of all, early hours of this morning. Sergio Ramos still scoring. Just so you know, Inter
I didn't even
Milan
know he was
took
still
on
playing football.
more. This guy is in Monterrey, and he scored the opener of the match. Inter Milan now had to hustle to score an equalizer, and that's how the match finished. But I was just like, Sergio Ramos will never change. That was what happened early hours of this morning. Also, Sabalenka walked back her statement. No, she didn't walk back. She apologized openly now, and this is how you apologize. Oh, that she doesn't understand how no, she doesn't understand why she was so unprofessional. I was like, it's your emotions. That's half the
Mm,
problem. It happens when you ask somebody questions immediately after a match. There are some people that react to some situations better. It doesn't make you better than the other person. It just means that at that time in that situation, you were a better human being.
yeah.
Yannick Sinner, after his own loss to Carlos Alcaraz, he gave a better answer. But that's Yannick Sinner. But when he was dealing with his doping issue, the reaction was not the same. Do you understand? So
Mm,
there are people that react better. But she came out and said she spoke with Coco Golf later. And the truth of the matter was Coco Golf even gave her benefits of that. Remember when Coco Golf was going on the USA tour?
yeah, yep, yep.
Immediately after she won the French Open, and then they threw the thing at her and said, you know what, this is what Sabalenka said. How she blamed the wind, and she was just like, you know what, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt because usually, she's not that kind of person. So Coco Golf even extended grace. Then, yeah, Sabalenka was able to come out and say, oh, I spoke with her later. I apologized. She absolutely deserved to win it. So full apology there. That's what's happening on tennis, and that's because grass season has started. We'll talk about that later. What else happened? What else is happening? Oh, Real Madrid will be playing today without Kylian Mbappe. We'll touch on all of that and more inside the locker room this morning. But before we do any more hot gists in the locker room, Ayokunmi, can you tell us how we can be a part of the locker room this morning?
Well, if you want a part of the hot gist this morning, you need to join us on WhatsApp and on YouTube. Now, the WhatsApp number that remains the same. It is 0809 444 0981 0809 444 That is the WhatsApp number. You can send your messages there. Also on YouTube, you can find us at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Leave your comments in the chat box, please. Get your front row seats as Uchenna Okoye has done. Uchenna Okoye, good morning to you. Great to have you on the show. All right, let's begin. In America and the NBA Finals, things are heating up. Jalen Williams scored 40 points for the Oklahoma City Thunder as they held off an Indiana Pacers comeback to win 120-109 and take a 3-2 lead in the NBA Finals. Tega, remontada did not work this time for Indiana.
They tried, oh, they tried, and then they scuffled it again in the last few minutes. But it wasn't a great game from start to finish by the Pacers. They were a pace behind, the rhythm off, and that was how the game went all through. Even their star player, Tyrese Halliburton, I think he was struggling with an injury to his right leg. He scored 2 points, and those two
Two
points, yes,
points.
he scored 2 points. Those 2 points came, I think, midway through the second quarter, and they were free throws.
Oh, wow.
So he struggled to score from the field, did not have a good game for them. The person that had a good game for them was TJ McConnell, who came off the bench and managed to drag the game from, I think they led at one point by 15 points. he dragged that game back with his play from the bench to within 4 points. Then they just lost their heads again. They were getting too excited that they are coming back. Then they lost their heads again, and OKC Thunder were only too happy to take it. But the big game came from Jalen Williams. It wasn't the stars of the show. It wasn't Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Like I mentioned, it wasn't Tyrese Haliburton. It wasn't even Pascal Siakam. It was Jalen Williams. 40 points. That guy. Um, at every point in time, he just found a way to push through. It was a huge game because remember, it had been the Pacers win, OKC wins, the Pacers win, OKC wins. This time,
Mm.
OKC finally takes the lead in the series and they were at home. What they need, what the Pacers are going to need now is to play a huge game 6 at home to
Yeah.
drag this to a game 7. Now, there are too many questionables. Um, Tyrese Haliburton is not in the best frame of mind. His body has been battered. Obi Topping, questionable so far. Nembhard defensively hasn't been doing the job. So there's a lot of things that are falling apart on the seams, at the seams for the Pacers. So I don't know if they can win that game 6, but OKC has momentum now. And they want to finish it off in game 6 so that they don't have to battle a game 7. So we'll see
Right.
how that goes. Yeah, in the NBA playoffs. But yes, OKC Thunders 1 win away from
Mm.
the championship.
OKC on the brink. Will they see?
Yeah,
Will they see
youngest
through?
team. Yeah, youngest team since I think they're the second youngest team in the NBA final. Yeah, second youngest team.
Amazing stuff. All right,
Mhm.
from there, let's head into the world of tennis and talk about Emma Raducanu. Now, the man who was given a restraining order for stalking her earlier this year has been caught trying to apply for tickets for this month's Wimbledon Championships. What is wrong with some people, Tega?
Look, this week alone, they've been talking about getting IDs for people and all the harassment. They're also talking about Katie Bolter when someone said she had to get cancer, that they hope she gets cancer. I'm like, why are people harassing these women like this? It's not even. It's not even. I don't even understand where it's beginning, where it's coming from. But yes, this man had the gall to try and get tickets for Wimbledon, but he was blocked. Um, I don't know how he was caught, but he was blocked. But it's such a tricky issue now that we are not just talking about the women and people harassing them online. We are now talking about people physically showing up, at their matches to just
It's
make life a little
ridiculous.
tedious. It's getting worse now, but it didn't start today. Remember Monica Seles that was stabbed in the back?
I was going to
That was,
mention it.
how many
1993.
years, I mean, exactly how many years ago that was. And then this is 2025 we're talking about, and nothing much has really changed. So it's the WTA now, they are dealing with many other things, and they now have to deal with protecting their women in sports. It's just the most ridiculous thing. But yes, that's what's happening now. But he's been blocked. We just want to know how much more security we can put around these women, especially when they're on tour, because it's a tough one out there. You can't be worried about performing on court and then worried about looking around you before somebody attacks you from the ground. But what's happening this week is the WTA in Berlin, and that's where everybody is preparing for their grass courts. Like I said, short season. Wimbledon is not too far away. And so everybody's trying to get as many matches as possible in. So
Mhm.
on the women's side, it's Berlin. On the men's side, it's the HSBC in London and Halle. Yannick Sinner came on yesterday, won his own match a bit more convincingly than Alcaraz, who had to struggle a little bit in the second set to win his match. But yes, that's what's happening so far in tennis, WTA on grass. But it's the security we are talking about now. We should be talking about tennis, about how you know, Diane Schneider is performing well, climbing up the ranks. How she played extremely well yesterday. But meanwhile, what
Right.
we're talking about is how we can get security because somebody is harassing Katie Bolter and somebody is harassing Emma Raducanu. Just
it's
these
just
are
all sorts of
British
ridiculous.
women in their on their own soil being harassed.
Man, we can only hope that these sort of things are dealt with and stamped out as soon as possible. Really scary things to be,
Mm.
hearing and reading about. Anyways, let us move on, from that to some other issues within that sphere, but in the world of football, right now, talking about the English Lionesses and England forward Alicia Russo. Now, she says she prefers to stay off social media during major tournaments because of how damaging the abuse can be. And this is similar kind of to what's going on in tennis, but I mean, this is social media abuse is abuse anyway.
Yeah,
Tega.
this is abuse abuse. This is social media one, but this also happens to the men team. This is an English. It's not an no. It's not an English problem, but it's just worse with the England team. They praise. The same way that they praise them when they do great. You think that they are the only ones that know how to play football. It's the same way that they come at them when they don't win, with the same aggression and viciousness and all of that. And so
Hmm.
she's saying, look, these Euros, I'm just going to stay off social media. Because think about it, when they lost to Spain, remember they were leading Spain. Then they led in that match. Then Spain came back in the second half and scored 2 goals to knock them out of the UEFA Nations League. And it's one thing to talk about the fact that women were resigning suddenly. Suddenly, Mary Epps said, "I don't want to be number two. I'm done." And she resigned. Then Millie Bright was like, "I'm not resigning, but I'm not featuring at the US. Don't put me on the list." Even when after she was invited,
Right.
you can have speculation and conversation about the coach losing the locker room, but the abuse online is worse. You've seen it with the men's team now, and
Oh,
I think it's
it's horrible. It's horrible.
you can imagine what they say on the women's team. So if it's horrible like that on the men's team, sometimes when it happens on the men's team, sometimes we say, oh, it's racism, and it comes across as racism because the players at the attack are usually the black ones, the Bellinghams, the Sakas. On the women's team, they just attack everybody. And the women are just like, you know what, these Euros, we are not favorites going into it. We are actually going through a transition, so it may not go as well as we plan it. So they are already, and can you imagine, they are already playing with the pressure to deliver. Then you add the fact that they are playing to prevent the online abuse. So she's like, you know what, I'm not going online, and I don't think any of our mates should go online. I
I,
hope the rest of our teammates listen to her.
I think so. I think that's the best thing for all of them. Just lock out all those distractions
Yeah,
and
just
everything right there. Mm-mm.
I don't even think you should lock out. I don't think that's distraction. That's just extra tension. Yeah, because now you're wondering what people will say if they know your house address. That kind of thing. It's vicious. It's very vicious.
A very vicious cycle. And like I said, we hope that these sort of things, I don't know how, I don't know when, but we just hope that these sort of things are stamped out. I said something yesterday to someone. I said the world is topsy-turvy. It applies again this morning in this conversation. Anyways, let's take a break. And then when we come back in, we'll still be talking about football, but we'll be talking about Daniel Levy. Of course, we all know him, the Oga Patakbata at Tottenham Hotspur. Locker Room on Smooth 98.1. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
Don't mind them with these girls. They find out who their boyfriends are, who their husbands are, where they live, if they are gay. Oh my goodness, that's
To what
how those.
to what
You
end?
know, No, they really threaten them with bad. At first we used to say it's only people that were betting, but it's beyond people that are betting now. It's just regular fans just picking on the girls. It's different. They say limits to how you can really abuse Saka, but it's not easy to get in close proximity with him per se.
Hmm.
Unlike these
I
girls
think
that can't afford as much security.
I think we've gotten to a point where more and more people are so comfortable being keypad warriors because they know that, oh, you can't get me like that and so on. Like it's more rampant now. Even someone that
Yeah,
if he sees you, You can't even look at your face, but online, the press keeper do.
Yeah, but it's bad. But you see, it's with the guys, which is why I think they attack the black players. Again, they pick on the guys they think they can get away with it with. With the black players, even the FA will say, we want to stamp out racism, take a knee. But they won't push as much as if somebody went to abuse Hurricane.
Hmm.
Do you understand?
I
It's the
get you.
same thing with the women. It's like one guy that put on social media, oh, 10 lesbians and I think the American team was 10 lesbians and what's her name now that has retired, that used to play for Manchester City. And I'm just like, why? And he was a sports journalist.
Rubbish.
Yes.
All right, let's step back in. Welcome back into the locker room. It's a Wednesday morning. This is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. We're having a great morning talking about all the sporting action from the last 24 hours or thereabouts. And we're having fun in the studio. Ayokunmi here. Tega also with me. Maybe not in the studio, but still, Tega is bringing the fire and the energy as she always does. And we are looking to you to bring the energy as well via your messages. Yes, so please send them to us on WhatsApp on 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 is the WhatsApp number. You can also catch up and keep up with us on YouTube. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos is where we are. Where we are, you can leave your messages in the chat section there, and I'll take them with the WhatsApp messages as we get along. All right, to get back into the conversation, like I mentioned earlier, Daniel Levy has been talking. Now, he says sacking manager and Postecoglou after he led the club to victory in the Europa League was, in quotes, emotionally difficult. Was it, though? Was it?
Yeah, well, he can say all he wants. That's how he said when he was parting ways with Pochettino. It was also difficult. Everything is always difficult for Daniel Levy until you find out it's really easy. Um, ultimately, he said, that Tottenham's. I think where it came very tricky was like, yeah, they had to sack Ange Postecoglou because despite the fact that he won the Conference League. They finished 1, 2, 3. They finished
17th?
17th on the table. Yeah. Um, and so that Tottenham Hotspur is contending for the Premier League. I was like, since when? Do you understand? I was like, let's use 2 minutes to laugh at that statement. When do you start having comedy? Tottenham is contesting for the Premier League. Since when have they ever contested? You know, and that was I think that was it. I understand what he's trying to say, that the winning the Europa, which is what I've been saying since, winning the Europa does not mean that they had a good season. If you
Mm,
finish 17th, you had a horrible season. If you finish 17th as Tottenham, you had a horrible season. You're a top table team, be at the top side of the table. But to finish 17th and think that you can use the Europa as plaster, it doesn't work. It's like
Plaster.
that's what it is. You break your leg and you put plaster on top. It doesn't work. And so ultimately, I understand why he said, they fired him, but to say that you're contending for the Premier League, you are who? Which Premier League are you talking about? The one that we know, or the one in your mind? But yes, they had to fire him because they wanted to finish higher up the table. Trophies or no trophies, that was a horrible season, and so they've done what they needed to do. So wait to see how this season pans out from them. New manager, new transfers. Let's see if they can make something better of it. Yeah.
Mm, yes, indeed. A new boss at the helm, Thomas Frank, coming in from Brentford. Will he be able to change Tottenham's fortunes? Well, time will tell. Premier League season will be back
He
before you know
finished
it.
the top half of the table, so
And with Brentford, Tottenham is a different ball game. It's Tottenham, you know.
Eh.
So,
there's a spirit of bottling that comes upon
eh, eh,
you. But
you understand. You
once you get
understand.
into the stadium, I
That's
understand. I understand.
that's all. All right, let's switch gears and talk about the Club World Cup and Real Madrid, specifically where their forward Kylian Mbappe is a doubt for their opening match against Saudi Arabian side Al-Hilal on Wednesday after missing training on Tuesday due to illness.
Al Hilal was the move for Cristiano Ronaldo. Remember when he said he was leaving his club and everybody thought he wanted to come back to Europe?
Mm,
There was Al-Hilal was one of the target markets. So that's why I was asking that time: is he leaving Saudi Arabia or is he leaving just that club? Because that's a lot of money to be leaving on the table. But yes, Real Madrid faces Al-Hilal, and it's time to get out your red markers because that's what all of you are doing now. You're waiting to see after Ancelotti left. You're waiting to see what Alonso can do with that team. If Ancelotti was really with the problem, so you say, I told you so." And this life really, yeah, I'm telling you, this life. Sometimes it doesn't. You can do 100 good things and one bad thing, and you are a human being, and the people can just write off your entire legacy and history. See the way they were talking about one season, they're talking about Don Carlo. The next season, they're like, "Come on, be going." Chasing him
mm,
like fly. So now the markers are coming out because Alonso has taken over. Um, this is supposed to be the guy that is going to take advantage of the great team, and I'm using my apostrophe that they have. So it's time to see how he'll perform. Now, the good news for him is that part of the quandary that Real Madrid was in was the fact that they brought in Kylian Mbappe, and it seemed that when they brought him in, the jigsaw puzzle was a little scattered. So the question was, who do I leave out now that Mbappe is here? And how can I play with Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, and Jude Bellingham all at once?
right.
Uh, and now that quandary has been thwarted because Kylian Mbappe has picked up an illness. He's not injured. I think he was ill, so he missed training yesterday. So they're not sure that he can play today. So I think without Kylian Mbappe, maybe he'd arrange his team better. But this, I don't think this is time to mark the script. Time to mark the script is when he has the options of all four, and then he has to pick and choose, or he has to swap positions. Then that's when we really mark script. But for now, it looks like he's in a good position. So let's see how Xabi Alonso performs. The eyes of the world are on him, and he
Most
more than
definitely.
anybody understands the pressure at Real Madrid. He played here. So he understands the pressure at Real Madrid. Let's see if he can deliver today.
Let's see if he can deliver to its Real Madrid against Al Hilal, who are now managed by former Inter manager Simone Inzaghi. So
That
interesting stuff,
doesn't
coming up.
change anything. How you go to the final and go and use buckets to carry goals. Come on,
You should have gone to Tottenham at least. They can both bottle. They can
you
bottle
know.
together. That kind of thing. Yeah. So I said what I said. At the end of the day. All right. Still talking about the club World Cup, Tega. Chelsea, talking about Chelsea, empty seats and so on and so forth. Of course, they began their campaign with a 2-0 victory against LAFC, that's Los Angeles FC, in a largely empty stadium. That was on Monday, as Brazilian giants Flamengo also got off to a winning start, and a Benfica comeback denied Boca Juniors in a stormy encounter. South American teams seem to be, doing some bits
I
in
say
this year's tournament.
they're not just doing some things. Their fans are traveling. Did you see Boca Juniors fans? I was like, who gave people a visa? They were everywhere. I was just like, so you remember what I was talking about? It's a combination of two things. You know, it's a club World Cup, so to to tell people to travel to come and watch their club in a competition that has not yet gathered momentum is different. Like I said, the crowd at the World Cup will be completely different. For
Mm-hmm.
instance, you saw if you see if Nigeria goes there now. If Nigeria qualifies, you will see Nigerians at the stadium. But say Rivers United or Eimba or Remo Stars are there, it's not the same. Is what I'm saying. It's a Nigerian club and would like to support our team, but a lot of people will not go out of their way. But those South American teams, their fans are traveling. But Chelsea, yes, was complaining about. I think it was Maresca. The way Maresca said it, I can't believe I'm playing in front of a stadium that is 50,000 people empty. I was like, oh, shut up. Weren't you playing at the lower league before? How many people were at your stadium? But then again, I know what
Wow.
he means.
Wow.
I know what he means. Um, he has just think about it. In England, even you can have your community football match, Sunday, regular Sunday football, and there be people to watch you. Then you now leave that and go to America where there are 50,000 empty seats. You don't understand.
That's a
It can
50,000.
it looked like it was COVID times. I'm sure he
Some
came into the stadium and wondered what year he was in.
some clubs don't even have stadiums that seat 50,000.
Do you understand? So I understand. Stadium was pretty empty, but FIFA came out to say that, oh, we sold about 1.5 million tickets, and I said, it's 1.5 million tickets across the tournament, because if it's across the tournament, that's not a lot of tickets to have sold, because you have a lot of
Exactly.
matches. Mm-hmm. So you can't, how people want to pick the stats that favor them. 1.5 million tickets. That's a lot of tickets. No, is it across all the matches? If it's across all the matches or just this group phase, then you're talking two different things. So it's work that they have to do. They have to do this work by promoting this league as much as possible, and making it more exciting. It's a new tournament. They shouldn't rush. And the new tournament, and they took it to America. So, you're building slowly. If they had played it in Europe, maybe some people will come out for their summer holiday and say, let's just watch some football. But he took it all the way to America, where they're just starting to like soccer. And they think soccer is the women's game.
Exactly.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Hmm. Very much a tough one. All right, Tega, very quickly. I mean, from one person who had lofty dreams in terms of Tottenham. Let's talk about Man United. Their chief executive, Omar Berrada, is sticking to his ambitious target of winning the Premier League in 2028 to mark the club's 150th anniversary, despite a historically bad season for Ruben Amorim's team. I can
At
dream,
least
but come on.
no. They have a 2-year plan. There's nothing wrong with that. I even wanted to say, at least they're waiting. Daniel Levy said they want to contend for Premier League. That's why they sacked and Postecoglou. But with Manchester United, you can see that they have a plan. They didn't say they are winning 2026. They didn't say they are winning 2027. They said they are hoping to win 2028. They are planning to win 2028, which means that all their buys will be strategic towards winning. They are giving themselves time to build. So,
Hmm.
like you now, when other people are counting points and looking at the table, you don't have business there. You that said, you that said your season will start next season, don't bother, because they've told you that their ambition is not 2028. It's not 2026, it's 2028. So you now, Ayo, and all Manchester United fans, you just be Premier League is just friendly and training, because you know that you have no ambition to win it. Mm-hmm. So you will wait till 2028 before you start having hope. I like the vision. I just think that for club football, 2028 is such a long time. For a big team like let me put it this way: for a traditional team like Manchester United, to be saying you're not hoping to win the league in any season is baffling to people that grew up seeing Manchester United win league after league. Do you understand what I mean now?
Yeah.
So,
But
but
hey,
he's trying to put a realistic target that you shouldn't have hope. So Manchester United fans, don't kill yourself. You are
mm.
just watching friendlies from now till 2028. That's what you are doing.
I actually understand, the thought process. I mean, looking at the last 10, 15 years or thereabouts of how the club has just nosedived. So I guess it's now, okay, you know what? Let us try and give ourselves some common sense here. Let us actually have a plan, not just blowing in the wind, and let's work
Come,
towards it. So
it's a lie.
let's,
We'll still drag people for Manchester United. We want to win league
eh,
in 2028. Manchester United, you have to win league every season. We drag you again next season.
we're not ready.
We are
We're
here.
not ready
We are
yet.
here for you.
Vision 2028. We're working on it. All right, let me take messages. This is from Fred. Very good morning to you, Fred. He says OKC turned up. OKC turned up on the night, and Pacers were just pacing around with turnovers. In fact, the first quarter alone, they had more than 10 turnovers, and Halliburton was just awful even before he sustained the injury. 4 points from him was horrible. Let's see what happens tomorrow night. Me, I'm rooting for the Pacers, Sha. For the club World Cup, eh? It's still early days. Indeed, it is. Maya Wainikeja says, Daniel Levy is only concerned about the business side of football. They're the most healthy, financially run club in the EPL. I thought that was Arsenal. Anyways, what do I know? They are not really concerned about winning anything in as much as they won the Europa League. Spurs will only falter to deceive next season. Waiting for the EPL fixture list at 9 a.m. Everybody's waiting to see who will be facing first when the league season commences. Taya says Daniel Levy is just using that club for something illegal because how do you sack your winning coach? To be frank, Tom can't deliver. I see what you did there. I hope it won't be difficult for Levy when the time comes. This big six clubs marketing is seriously deceiving Tottenham. Inzaghi and Tottenham, then it's the lower leagues for them. He's not that bad now. He won the league with Inter. Man United can do 2050 and nothing to show. Have you sought Man City's permission? Tayo, you are playing with fire. Noisy neighbors, you're playing with fire. Michael says, I don't think major sports should be hosted by America for now. With this travel ban, they are dishing out like puff puff. Bad for sports and fans.
But
Okay.
everything is happening in America right now. Think about it. The NBA playoffs is going on at the same time as the Gold Cup is going on. Remember, the Gold Cup is going on right
Yeah,
now in
it's going on
America.
right now.
And then the
True.
Club World Cup is. So they have infrastructure. You can't tell FIFA not to take advantage of that.
Mm. All right, YouTube, Uche Nawokoye says the Club World Cup living up to the hype. The South American teams are doing well. Can't wait to see the new look Man City. A good win for the South African club. That's Mamelodi Sundowns. Will the cup go to America or Europe? Sergio Ramos, what a man. Ian Fedada says, which is better, finishing 17th in the Premier League table and winning an European title, or finishing in the top half of the Premier League table for more than 7 years and ending up trophyless?
And now you
Well,
know which one is better. One person still has a job and is on vacation with his wife. The other person has been sacked.
well,
Now
but
you know the answer to your question.
Tega, at the same time, that person that's still in a job, even if he finishes 20th, I'm sure he'll still have that job.
No, I don't think so. Because I mean, look, it's what I was telling you. You can't wash over 17th position with a trophy. You cannot. There's nothing. It's not a better season. You want to be able to say, I won. It's like saying I have no discipline, but I passed my exam. It's not.
I get
Your
you. I get
your
what you mean.
discipline is for life. Passing exam is for now.
I hear you on that one, Tega. All right, we need to wrap it up this morning. Man, time has actually flown by. Thank you so much, Tega.
That's a lot of time. Thank you so much for tuning into Smooth 98.1 FM. Thank you for listening to the locker room. Till we come your way again on Friday, where hopefully we will not take all of Ayo's time. See you and have a great week.
All right, Tega, have a great week and looking forward to having you on Friday. All right, it's been real. Thank you so much for joining us in the locker room this morning. Keep it tuned to the Smooth Breakfast. Lagos Talks will come up at 9. Great conversation is coming your way.